Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
The planet Varenthia was unlike anything on Earth. Its sky bathed in hues of violet and coral, swirling clouds casting shadows over the vast expanse of bioluminescent flora. Towering mountains rose majestically, their peaks shrouded in mist, while beneath them a labyrinth of ruins hinted at a civilization far older than those who roamed its surface. The air carried a distinct energy, a mixture of excitement and trepidation, perfectly embodying the nature of its inhabitants, the Varenthians. Aurora stood on the balcony of the diplomatic ship, gazing at the alien landscape with a mix of awe and apprehension. As the human ambassador, she bore the weight of her mission, to foster peace between her kind and the formidable Varenthian race. A strong-willed individual, she had spent years studying their language and traditions, preparing for this monumental task. Her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of her partner, Matteo, stepping up beside her. With his rugged stature and keen blue eyes, he often felt like her protector. As a warrior, he had been tasked with ensuring her safety during their stay, but he also embodied a conflicting emotion. He found himself irresistibly drawn to Aurora. "Aurora, we should prepare for the gathering," he said, glancing at her with concern. "Right," she nodded, yet the butterflies in her stomach grew larger. The Varenthians were known for their fierce traditions, and the upcoming cultural exchange would be vital for setting the tone of their relationship. The gathering was held in the great arena, a colossal structure alive with the energy of its audience. Millions of Varenthians gathered to witness the spectacle. To Aurora's horror, the festivities began to take a dark turn when an elder stepped forward. His thunderous voice commanded attention. "Today, we honor our ancestral covenant with the beast. A sacrifice must be made." Before Aurora could comprehend the seriousness of the declaration, she was suddenly seized by guards. Panic surged as she realized the truth. She was to be the sacrifice thrown to the beast. "Matteo!" She cried out, desperation lacing her words as she was dragged from the gathering. Matteo's heart raced, the color draining from his face as he witnessed her being taken. His instincts kicked in, driving him to follow her. But the Varenthian warriors stood like a wall of iron. "Stop!" he shouted, pushing against the crowd, but it was like trying to swim upstream. As Aurora was led to the arena's center, she steadied herself, drawing on the resolve she trained for. Her bravery and intellect surged into focus. She would not be just a victim today. The roar of the crowd echoed in her ears, but one thought stood firm. She would not go down without a fight. The arena was a vast, imposing structure, carved from dark stone and illuminated by flickering torches that cast eerie shadows across its surface. It felt alive, humming with the anticipation of its audience. Rows upon rows of Varenthians filled the stands, their eyes glinting with a mix of excitement and primal hunger as they awaited the spectacle. This arena had witnessed countless battles, the ground soaked with the history of triumphs and tragedies. Aurora stood at the center, her heart pounding in her chest as she faced the oppressive gaze of the crowd. The chanting rose, a cacophony of alien words, reverberating against the stone walls, fueling her anxiety. She had taught herself the language, but in this moment, those words felt lost to her, overpowered by adrenaline and fear. Suddenly, a gate at the far end of the arena creaked open, and a low growl echoed through the space, silencing the crowd. From the darkness emerged the beast, a creature born of nightmares. It towered over her, a biomechanical hybrid with sleek, iridescent scales and ferocious, metallic limbs that echoed the craft of Varenthian engineering. Its eyes glowed a menacing red, fixated on her with an intensity that made her skin crawl. The creature was both awe-inspiring and terrifying, embodying the brutal nature of the Varenthian culture. Aurora's heart raced as it prowled forward, each step echoing in her ears like the toll of a death knell. She could feel the heat radiating from its body, a living weapon designed for domination. As the beast drew closer, Aurora's instincts kicked in. Clenching her fists, she recalled her training on Earth, a focus on strategy, not fear. There had to be a way to turn this situation around. She would not be a mere prey. Summoning every ounce of courage, she raised her voice above the din. "You have made a mistake. I am not your enemy. I come in peace." The crowd roared in disbelief, their laughter a symphony of disdain. But just as fear was clawing at her, a flicker of hope emerged in her thoughts. What if she could confront this beast not with violence, but with understanding? The Varinthians respected strength, but they also revered cunning and intelligence. Drawing upon all her knowledge, she scanned the arena for anything she could use. The beast paused, tilting its head as if considering her words, the flick of its tongue tasting the air in front of it. The spectators were restless, their bloodlust rising with every second of the standoff. She sensed that any moment of hesitation could mark her end. Aurora focused on the beast's movements, its body language crucial in deciphering its intentions. The creature inched closer, growling softly, its muscles coiling, ready to spring. But instead of cowering, she straightened her back, defying the fear threatening to overwhelm her. In a bold move, she took one deliberate step forward, clenching her fists with fierce determination. "Do you wish to fight, beast? Or shall we see who is stronger in mind than in muscle?" she challenged, her voice steady despite the tremors of fear. Unbeknownst to Aurora, Mateo fought through the crowd, his heart racing in sync with hers. The moment he saw her standing in the arena, facing that horrific beast, a deep rage ignited within him. This was not just about her safety. It was about the injustice of an entire culture that demanded such brutality. "Let me through," he shouted, pushing against the warriors blocking his path. "Stay back, human," one yelled, brandishing a spear, but Mateo refused to relent. He stepped over the warrior, driven by the visceral need to protect Aurora, the woman who had become his anchor in this alien world. Back in the arena, Aurora and the beast shared a charged moment, the tension palpable. There was an understanding growing, a test of wills that surpassed mere dominance. Confident, she prepared to read its movements, her heart racing yet grounded, trusting it would respond differently if treated with respect. Suddenly, the creature lunged, but instead of attacking, it stopped inches from her face, breath hot against her skin. Her heart thrummed as she stared into its glowing eyes, feeling an inexplicable connection, a conversation of souls, unspoken yet powerful. Would the beast sense her courage and accept her as an ally rather than a threat? In that moment, everything hung delicately in the balance: her life, her mission, and the fate of the fragile peace she sought to forge between their worlds. Mateo's heart thundered in his chest as he fought to break free from the Varinthian warriors blocking his path. Desperation fueled his determination. He wouldn't allow Aurora to face the beast alone. He kept recalling her fierce spirit and the way she had absorbed their alien culture in her quest for diplomacy. In this moment, he felt powerless, but deep down, he knew he couldn't stand by. "Please, let me through," he begged, his voice hoarse with emotion. "She needs me." The warriors exchanged glances, their expressions wavering between confusion and amusement. A human had no standing here in the arena. They were merely spectators to the brutal spectacle. Yet, Mateo could not let Aurora face the beast alone, nor could he allow her to become a victim of their savage traditions. As the creatures roared in the arena, Mateo found an opening, a slight gap in the crowd. He surged forward, shoving past the startled Varinthians, ignoring the jabs of spears that followed him. His heart raced, adrenaline coursing through his veins. Finally, he reached the edge of the arena just as the beast surged forward, eyes locked onto Aurora, muscles coiling in preparation to spring. Time seemed to slow as Mateo positioned himself just outside the arena, locking eyes with Aurora. In that fleeting moment, he conveyed a promise. He would not let her down. "Step away from her," he shouted, his voice echoing powerfully across the arena. The crowd momentarily hushed, curiosity and surprise etched on their faces at the sight of the human warrior defying tradition. Aurora's eyes widened as she spotted him, a mix of relief and renewed courage passing between them. "You shouldn't be here, Mateo," she called out, her voice steady despite the chaos. "It's too dangerous." "Any place is dangerous without you," he replied, his gaze unwavering as he faced the beast, ready to do whatever it took to protect her. The primal instinct to guard what he cared about surged inside him. He felt an unbreakable bond forming, stronger than any loyalty to his own kind. Just then, The beast hesitated as it sensed Mateo's presence. Almost as if drawn by the connection between the human and the ambassador, it paused and began to assess the situation, caught between its prey and the unexpected defiance of a human warrior. Mateo's courage ignited a flicker of hope in Aurora. "Take its focus off me," she yelled, her voice ringing with urgency. She knew that Mateo's boldness could become their only chance. Working together, they could challenge their terrifying fate. Mateo took a deep breath, his instincts kicking into gear, and decided to approach the creature without hesitance. He raised his arms, palms upward, signaling non-aggression. Feeling the crowd's tension, he shouted, "Look at me, beast. I am not your enemy." The arena was a blend of chaos and silent anticipation, the crowd holding its breath as the beast shifted its focus onto Mateo. The human's heart raced as he locked onto the creature's glowing eyes, willing it to see past the instinct to kill. As Mateo slowly stepped forward, he sensed an unexpected resonance within the creature. He recalled the tales of Varenthian tradition, of warriors bonding with beasts through respect and understanding. He mirrored Aurora's prior stance, conveying strength without hostility, the essence of an ally, not an enemy. "Together, we can demonstrate strength beyond violence," he urged, projecting sincerity in his voice. A heavy silence fell around the arena as both the crowd and the beast began to grasp the peculiar dynamic playing out before them. A moment passed, and the beast tilted its head slightly in a curious, almost inquisitive manner, as if absorbing the message being projected through Mateo's body language. As Mateo and Aurora stood united, the beast took a step backward, its growl transforming into a deep hum that resonated through the arena. The crowd's reactions morphed from anticipation to confusion, some spectators unable to comprehend a human standing against one of their most fearsome traditions. Mateo's heart pounded as he cautiously took another step into the arena, not yet close enough to risk an attack, yet close enough to keep the beast's attention. He turned to Aurora, his eyes filled with a renewed determination. "We must change their perception of us," he stated. "But first, we have to survive this moment." Aurora nodded, understanding that they had to work together for their survival. As if sensing their united front, the beast grew still, its breathing evening out, anticipation hanging in the air like a thick fog. Mateo's hand reached for Aurora, finding hers in a moment of solidarity. In their clasped hands lay the spark of potential, a bond that transcended species, cultures, and lethal intentions. Together, they were stronger. The harmony forged in the arena was fragile, but it galvanized both Mateo and Aurora. As the crowd buzzed in confusion, they seized the moment. Mateo gestured for Aurora to follow him as he took another bold step towards the edge of the arena. The beast remained still, fixated on the bond they had created, allowing them a brief window of opportunity. "Now," Mateo urged, his voice low yet urgent. Together, they dashed to the side, the crowd parting in shock as they broke from the death grip of tradition. The Varenthian spectators seemed too stunned to react, their bloodlust momentarily replaced with disbelief. As they bolted through a narrow exit, Mateo felt Aurora's fingers intertwine with his, an instinctual connection that fueled their determination. They slipped into the dimly lit corridors behind the arena, which echoed with the sounds of the stunned audience. After what felt like an eternity, they finally stumbled into a quiet alcove, where the clamor of the crowd faded. The air felt cooler here, a sharp contrast to the heat of the arena. Mateo leaned against the wall, panting, his heart racing not just from exertion, but from the near miss they had just escaped. "We did it," he gasped, looking over at Aurora. "We're safe for now." Aurora flashed him a relieved smile, tension melting away only for a moment. "But we can't stay here. The Varenthian guards will be looking for us. We have to find a way to secure our safety." Aurora took a few deep breaths, gathering her thoughts. "We need allies," she said, her determination reigniting. "If we can find those who oppose the Council's bloodthirsty traditions, we might build a coalition for change." Mateo nodded, his warrior instincts awakening. "But who can we trust? The Council's supporters are everywhere." "We need to find a way to reach out to the dissenters," Aurora replied, her eyes narrowing with purpose. "Those who think the current council is outdated, those who believe in coexistence. Mateo swallowed hard, his mind racing. There's a rumor of a group called the Verdant Circle. They are said to be loyal to the old ways, honoring nature over bloodshed. If we can locate them, they might help us. Aware of the dangers, they began cautiously navigating through hidden passages. Aurora explained the intricacies of Varenthian society she had studied. The council has ruled for generations, and their power has been maintained through fear. But if we can disrupt their narrative, we might gain the support needed to change their customs. Mateo cringed at the thought of risking Aurora's life further. You shouldn't have to do this. I'll protect you, no matter the cost. She touched his arm, grounding him. Mateo, we're in this together. Our fates are intertwined. To save our worlds, we must unite. As they moved cautiously through dark corridors, filled with echoes of their nearby chasers, Mateo began to understand the depth of their connection. They were not only fighting for their own lives, but for coexistence, a chance for a future that bridged the divide between humans and Varenthians. Together, they formulated a plan to reach the rumored meeting point of the Verdant Circle, deep within the heart of the forest that cloaked their planet. Trust grew in the shared objectives that, despite their fears, their bond could drive change. We will show the Varenthians that strength lies not in brutality, but in unity and cooperation, Aurora stated resolutely as they peered into the shifting shadows beyond the corridor. With a newfound purpose, they made their way towards the forest, their hearts aligned and hopes high, believing that together they could challenge the unjust traditions of Varenthia. With every step, they drove deeper into the unknown, solidifying their commitment to each other and the cause they now shared. As Mateo and Aurora ventured deeper into Varenthia's lush forest, they felt a profound shift in the air, an urgency that both excited and unnerved them. The foliage whispered secrets, urging them forward. Aurora turned to Mateo, her voice barely a whisper as they paused to catch their breath. "There's something I need to discuss with you, Mateo," she began, her cheeks flushing slightly. In Varenthian culture, when two beings unite their spirits, it is called mating. It's not merely physical. It's a bond that invites trust and understanding, entwining lives. Mateo's heart skipped a beat, the weight of her words sinking in. "You mean you're talking about mating?" he asked, feeling the warmth flood his cheeks. "I thought we were focused on survival." Aurora took a deep breath, her resolve strengthening. "Yes, but forging this bond might create an unbreakable connection that will increase our strength against the Council. It's about more than love. It's about aligning our spirits to fight for our people together." Mateo searched her gaze, seeing the spark of determination amidst the vulnerability. "If we were to mate, it would change everything between us. Are you sure you want this?" "I believe it's essential," she replied, her voice steady with conviction. "Our union could signify a new era of cooperation between humans and Varenthians." After a moment, he nodded, understanding the importance of sealing their alliance both emotionally and spiritually. "If this will help our cause, then let's ensure our bond is strong." In that moment, the air crackled with tension as they approached a clearing filled with bioluminescent flowers, glowing softly under the twilight sky. It felt sacred and alive, a perfect setting for what they were about to undertake. As they stepped into the clearing, Aurora began weaving intricate patterns in the air, drawing upon what she had learned from Varenthian traditions. "This ritual requires sincerity and openness. We will gather our thoughts, and when we are ready, we will embrace the bond." Mateo felt a shiver run through him, a tingling anticipation mixing with nervousness. They exchanged glances, and with that unspoken understanding, they began the ritual, moving closer to one another until their hands brushed, igniting a flame of electricity between them. "Let us show the universe our intentions," Aurora whispered, guiding Mateo closer. Their breaths mingled as they locked eyes, the world around them fading into nothingness. Slowly, they stepped together, bodies entwined in an intimate embrace. Aurora felt the warmth of Mateo's strong arms, cradling her while her heart raced, recognition blooming within her. This was the blending of two worlds, an act of rebellion against the oppressive norms of Varenthia. As they focused on their connection, feelings surged through them: courage, trust, desire, and hope. The boundaries of fear shattered, replaced by a sense of belonging that surpassed anything they had ever known. They shared their dreams and fears, their laughter echoing like music in the quiet woods. The air thickened with energy as anticipation built, and their lips met in a desperate kiss, a promise sealed against the threat of their society. It was tender yet passionate, resonating with emotions they hadn't fully grasped until now. Aurora felt the bond take root, intertwining their souls in a way she had only imagined. Finally, at the apex of their connection, they synchronized their breaths, heartbeats harmonizing into a single rhythm. Under the glow of the luminescent flowers, they embraced the depth of their decision to mate, creating a bridge between humanity and the Varenthian race. Now united by their bond, Aurora and Mateo embraced their newfound strength. As they left the sacred clearing, they were determined to find the verdant circle and rally the opposition to the Varenthian Council. They navigated through the forest, confidence pulsing in their veins. No longer were they mere diplomats or warriors. They were allies, bonded through love and shared purpose. The rumors of the verdant circle led them to an ancient grove filled with vibrant life, where passionate discussions flourished amongst the rebels. They approached cautiously, knowing the council's agents could be lurking nearby. As they entered the gathering, Aurora raised her voice, drawing the attention of the assembly. "We seek your support against the council. Their traditions demand sacrifices that uphold tyranny rather than honor life." Mateo stood by her side, nodding for emphasis. "Together, we can build a new legacy, one that champions unity and strength over bloodshed." The leaders of the Verdant Circle listened intently, the passion in Aurora's voice igniting curiosity among the gathered rebels. Mateo witnessed the flickers of hope igniting in the eyes of those around them. It became evident that there were many who yearned for a change many believed impossible until now. One elder, with silver hair and wise eyes, stepped forward. "Your bond, a human and Varenthian, it challenges tradition. But can your united strength withstand the council?" "When we started this journey, I would have said no," Aurora replied. "But together, we are more than the sum of our parts. We embody cooperation, a path forward that can transcend cultures." With compelling arguments laid before them, the group collectively agreed to support Aurora and Mateo, rallying together under the banner of progress. Whispers of rebellion began to fill the air, momentum building as they prepared to confront the council. As dusk settled, a plan was devised to infiltrate the council's stronghold, but they would have to face the beast once more. The creature guarded the entrance, reminding all of the brutal tradition they were intending to dismantle. "Mateo and Aurora must confront it," the elder declared, "to prove their strength and commitment to the cause." Heart pounding, Aurora looked at Mateo, their bond cultivated and fortified by their love and the risks they now faced. "We'll face it together," she said softly, wrapping her fingers around his. As they approached, the beast emerged from the shadows, its growl reverberating through the air, a stark reminder of what was at stake. Mateo tightened his grip on Aurora's hand, and they moved forward in unity. The creature paused, sensing the shift in their energy. "We are not here to harm," Mateo boldly announced. "We wish to challenge the ideals that keep us shackled. You can be an ally, not an adversary." Aurora added, "Together, we can unify our worlds rather than divide them." To their surprise, the beast hesitated, recognizing something profound in their connection. The crowd, Varenthians and rebels alike, watched in awe as the creature shifted, demonstrating signs of understanding. "In empathy lies power," Mateo boldly proclaimed, feeling the raw energy flowing from their unity. With the bond they shared palpable in the air, the beast allowed them passage, shifting aside as the crowd erupted in cheers. This moment transformed into a powerful symbol, the merging of their worlds, represented through their unyielding determination and the pledge to fight against oppression. As they entered the council chamber, the atmosphere crackled with tension. Facing the council members, Mateo declared, "We stand here to create a new legacy, one that embraces life over death, unity over division." The elders began debating amongst themselves, caught off guard by the overwhelming force of the newly forged alliance. Aurora stood tall, ready to share a vision of a future where humans and Varenthians could coexist. Change may be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Let us build a society on trust, respect, and love. In that moment, the council recognized the strength of their unity, a bond powerful enough to shift the tides of tradition. The elders convened for a vote, and as they moved forward, the anticipation hung thick in the air. The echoes of their shared rallying cry filled the hall, a new hope blooming in the hearts of all present. Mateo and Aurora stood together, fingers clasped, knowing that they had redefined the relationship between their worlds. Regardless of the outcome, they had forged a bond that transcended their cultures, proving that love could indeed conquer all. As the council deliberated, the future lay ahead bright and full of possibility, with the promise of a new alliance on the horizon. As Aurora and Mateo moved stealthily through the dimly lit corridors toward the council chamber, the weight of the moment pressed heavily upon them. Each step echoed with anticipation and anxiety, intensifying their resolve. They knew that confronting the council was not merely about their survival. It was also about fighting for the values they believed in. "Remember, they will try to intimidate us," Aurora whispered as they approached the grand doors. "Stay strong, and let our bond radiate strength." Mateo nodded, determination etched on his features. The pair exchanged one last glance, silent reassurance, and pressed forward, bursting through the imposing doors of the chamber. The council's chamber, a magnificent hall adorned with ancient tapestries and shimmering stone, instantly fell silent as the council members turned to face them. A cluster of elders, each one representative of the old regime, sat high upon their thrones, expressions ranging from shock to disdain. "Who dares disturb our council?" thundered an elder with a long, flowing beard, his voice laced with authority. His piercing gaze locked onto Aurora and Mateo, evaluating them with the same scrutiny he reserved for adversaries. "We do," Aurora replied, her voice steady but infused with urgency. "We come to challenge the customs that bind you. The traditions that demand blood sacrifices must end." Murmurs rippled through the council members, some exchanging glances, while others narrowed their eyes in skepticism. Mateo felt the tension envelop the hall, a tangible barrier they had to break through. "Bold words for a mere ambassador and a human," sneered another council member, crossing his arms. "What makes you think you can sway the foundational beliefs of our society?" Aurora took a step forward, her heart racing yet emboldened by their bond. She knew their connection was a powerful statement against centuries of entrenched beliefs. "Because we embody the strength of unity," she declared, her voice ringing clear. "There are those in your world who want to change, and we stand as proof that we can coexist." Mateo felt a surge of pride at Aurora's words, recognizing the brave spirit that first drew him to her. Together, they were defying expectations, tearing down barriers in the name of compassion and evolution. The lead elder, his expression one of contempt, leaned forward. "You represent nothing but folly, and folly leads to death. The beast and its rituals signify strength. How can you expect the people to abandon centuries of tradition?" Mateo stepped up beside Aurora, channeling his warrior instincts. "Strength lies not in bloodshed, but in the ability to protect and uplift one another," he countered firmly. "We have seen a different path, one where cooperation binds us stronger than fear ever could." The council members exchanged incredulous looks as the murmur spread among them. Mateo and Aurora had disrupted their bravado, planting seeds of doubt in their long-held beliefs. They could see uncertainty beginning to flicker in the eyes of some elders. Perhaps they longed for change but feared speaking against their own. One elder stepped forward, a woman with silver hair and gentle eyes. "You speak of cooperation, but how can we be certain you carry no treachery in your hearts?" Mateo raised his eyebrows, ready to clarify. "By believing in each other. We are both bound to our worlds, and through understanding, we can break the chains of tyranny that restrict us. Together, we can forge a legacy of love and strength." Aurora's heart swelled with hope as she watched the elder contemplate his words. It was evident that the resistance she had felt within the council was alive, and they needed only a glimmer of belief to ignite it. "I challenge the council to listen," Aurora implored, her words reaching across the ages of wisdom. We can take the beast's representative role as protectors of the land instead of enforcers of brutal traditions. Let us lead our people into a future that embraces life. Suddenly, an armored guard burst into the chamber, breaking the intensity with the report. The beast has escaped. It seeks to wreak havoc in the village. Chaos erupted. The council members scrambled, but Aurora seized the moment. Let this be a lesson. We must cooperate with the beast. Learn from it, not subjugate it. Allow me to face it with Mateo, and our shared representation can lead to a peaceful resolution. The elders exchanged incredulous looks, disbelief cloaked in uncertainty. The council's visage of authority began to fracture as the tension thickened. Mateo and Aurora have proven themselves, the silver-haired elder stated firmly. There's wisdom in accepting the beast's nature and aligning with it rather than fighting against it. The wavering in the council's resolve became palpable amidst the chaos. Aurora and Mateo stepped forward into the heart of the unfolding chaos, recognizing an opportunity, the chance to prove the power of collaboration. Let us confront the beast together, Mateo suggested. It can symbolize our commitment to a united future. With hesitant agreement, the council acknowledged the duo's audacity, fearing both the beast and the potential impact of their newly forged alliance. As Mateo and Aurora sped toward the village with vigor, they became determined to cement an alliance with the creature that had once symbolized death. They refused to succumb to fear. Instead, they would harness the primal energy of the beast in their fight for liberation. They charged into the heart of the conflict, past the panicked villagers who remained paralyzed by fear, ready to face both the beast and the future together. As Mateo and Aurora approached the village, the sound of chaos reached their ears. Shouts of urgency and the distinct growl of the beast echoed through the streets. The creature, driven by instinct and fear, was causing destruction. They could feel the tension in the air, thick with panic. Yet, Aurora and Mateo stood firm, knowing that they were their only hope. "We must do this together," Aurora said, her eyes steady on Mateo. "If the bond we forged can reach the beast, it can also reach the hearts of our people." Mateo nodded, recalling the fierce loyalty and strength the beast had once radiated in the arena. "Let's show it that we have the power to change its purpose." They plunged forward into the chaos, determined to reach the beast before it could deliver any more devastation. As they arrived at the village square, they spotted the massive creature thrashing, its mechanical limbs smashing nearby structures. The beast's fierce, glowing eyes radiated a mixture of fury and deep-seated fear. "Mateo, stay close," Aurora instructed. They remained resolute, drawing nearer to the beast. As they stepped into its line of sight, it turned toward them, displaying its sharp teeth in a menacing snarl. In a moment of daring, Aurora stepped forward, unarmed but filled with conviction. "We are not your enemies," she shouted, allowing her sincerity and bravery to paint her words with legitimacy. "You are strong, but you don't have to be feared. You can be a protector, just like us." Mateo joined her, raising an arm in a display of unity. "Hear us, beast. We've seen your power, and we recognize you as an essential part of Varenthia. Together, we can forge a new path." The beast hesitated, its growl subsiding as it absorbed their words. Mateo felt the bond they shared with the creature resonating within him. If they could show it respect and understanding, perhaps it would respond to their call. As they held steady, Aurora spread her arms, representing openness and trust. "Let us demonstrate a new understanding," she declared, letting her voice soften. "We can be allies. Allow us to learn from you, just as we seek to protect you from those who wish to harm." Slowly, the beast's fierce demeanor began to soften. It recoiled slightly but did not attack, allowing the tension in the air to shift as curiosity replaced aggression. The crowd fell silent, watching with bated breath, marveling at the unexpected alliance unfolding before their eyes. With measured steps, Mateo reached deep within himself, channeling the dedication he felt for Aurora and their cause. "You have strength that inspires awe and fear. Show us the way, and we will follow together." In a surprising turn of events, the beast lowered its giant head, its glowing eyes dimming to a curious glow. The visceral connection they shared resonated between them, pulling on threads of loyalty and respect. It recognized their bravery and sincerity. As the atmosphere shifted, murmurs began to swell among the surrounding villagers. Fear morphed into hope. Uncertainty blossomed into unity. They witnessed the human and the beast collaborate in a way that had never been imagined before. Aurora stepped closer, extending a hand toward the creature. For a suspended moment, the beast sniffed her palm, its breath warm against her skin. The crowd's gasp resonated like a single voice, terrified yet invigorated by the possibility unfolding before their eyes. "Look!" one villager shouted, pointing toward the scene. "It recognizes them." The elders who had once held steadfast against change now felt the tide shifting, a realization dawning upon them. They had witnessed a powerful statement. Unity could bridge the chasm of fear. As the beast leaned in closer, accepting Aurora's presence, the crowd erupted in a mix of awe and approval. The old paradigms began to fracture as whispers of acceptance spread throughout Varenthia. "Together we can usher in a new era," Aurora proclaimed, her voice echoing through the square. "An era of respect, cooperation, and life." In that moment, the world transformed. The council's hold on power began to crumble as dissenters rallied behind Aurora and Matteo. Together, they invited the council to reconsider their traditions and embrace a different history. With this newfound alliance, the path to reform lay wide open. As Aurora and Matteo stood alongside the beast, symbols of an unprecedented bond blossomed among the crowd. They had embraced their fears, overcome insurmountable odds, and now shone brightly as beacons of hope. The sun began to rise over the horizon, casting brilliant hues across the sky. A new dawn for Varenthia. It was no longer defined by brutality but by empathy, strength, and the combined will to protect all who dwelled upon it. Hand in hand, Matteo and Aurora looked out at the horizon, the future stretching before them, filled with possibilities. Their pledge to redefine their worlds had ignited flames of change, propelled not by violence, but by love, determination, and an unyielding bond that had proven to be the strongest force of all.